It's the Care Bear.
Which one?
I think the lion one. I'm not sure.
It's been a minute since
been a
I've
while.
watched.
My daughter would be.
Lionheart. See,
Lionheart.
I
My
was
daughter would know.
Yeah. Lionheart.
Lionheart.
Don't ask me.
I got it like 3 years ago here at the convention. It was selling them everywhere. So
It's a good one.
fitting.
That brings us all together, Care Bear.
Yes.
Now,
we need more of that.
I wish we
and
did.
unicorns.
Are there cameras in your glasses?
So these are snap glasses, yeah. So if I was recording, I would click this and then it just records and it tells you that it's recording, yeah.
So you know pervert? Not pervert.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the way it is. Obviously mine's not covered, so I'm of the non-perverts.
Not allowed back in certain counties.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
they're
going
pretty
on the
cool.
list to Santa.
Yeah, it's on Amazon actually, yeah. It's from Snapchat, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they're great.
Let me go ahead and show you this here. My favorite Care Bear. That's not a Care Bear. No, I'll let everyone in.
Why don't you take the first question?
What Care Bear is that?
That's not a Care Bear.
That's Halloween.
That's
You're
Scare
good?
Time Bear.
Okay.
I'll jump in.
Scare Time Bear.
Scare
No,
Time
I'll
Bear.
jump back. Yeah,
Oh, okay. So tell us a little bit about your roles, like how your characters have developed as you see from season 1 to season 2, and what do we have in store?
Do you want to start?
Season 1, you kind of got thrown into the mix, and you had to kind of catch up to what was going on with the Haverfords and the Gypsies. And I think season 2 is about their past. They're going to start right from the get-go. We're going to flash back to where Charlie and Linda met for the very first time. And and it's not just a one-off. We'll actually flash back a couple of times throughout the season. And it's kind of an interesting device to show 90% of where they are now and a little 10% of what they used to be. And it's kind of sad.
I was just
It's
thinking
kind of
that.
sad of what hopes and dreams and aspirations they had 20 years ago, and where they are now. And it's a nice fabric to kind of weave in to the backdrop of who these people are, and then some pretty cool storytelling is going to happen this season. Not that necessarily was bad storytelling last year, but I think it's much more compelling, and a lot of oh no, how is this all going to play out is going to be the feeling this season.
I'm not sure how much of an additive I can be, but I certainly think, because I think he said that very well. I really have enjoyed learning why people land where they land and why they do what they do. And I think something that we've discussed quite a few times is that the act of conning and the nature of it and how we get good at it and how we fail it, and if we're going to do it to one another throughout as characters, is something we explore a lot this season. We really get on top of people's game, and you see people doing many things that will surprise you as an audience. And I really love that element of the story this year because it, as Jeffrey said, is very well-woven fabric in the Shut-Eye world this year. And we have new dynamic characters that are fantastic, and they take you in places with the characters that you already know that you don't expect to be. So that, for me, as the actor and as the audience, was a lot of fun to be a part of this season. And I can't wait to see how people respond to it.
So one of the things I really love about this show is you guys are not, like, you guys are flawed. And you guys, the protagonists, are flawed. And one of the things, Jeffrey, that I've always loved about you from Burn Notice was you've always played this flawed character. Because in Hitch, I hated your character in Hitch because you had nothing redeeming about you in Hitch. But still, it was a great antagonist. But I like you more as the flawed.
He's like, I hated the character. Keep talking.
I'm just listening.
So, where do you draw that inspiration as this flawed tandem? Is it from most people, like, they love being the villain and you're just spicing it up being kind of an anti-hero or kind of a good guy in some aspects?
Well, the big difference you got to look at when you draw comparisons between, like, Michael Weston and Charlie Haverford and lump them together, and someone like Vance Munson is the size of the role.
Right.
I mean, that's the clear indicator right there. I only had a couple of scenes in
Right,
each,
right,
though
right.
it was a memorable couple
Right,
of
it was.
scenes. and that's due to, I think, the writing was so good. When you look at Charlie or Michael or any kind of lead characters, that they're gonna have to be flawed. You're gonna have to show multiple dimensions to kind of weave a story of believability. And though I think a lot of people equate my persona with Michael Weston, just because I think he's one of the most iconic things I've done, he couldn't be more different from me. His ability to be the smartest guy in the room and analyze everything and figure everything out and pull it. I
He's
would
just like you.
No, I would not be able to do that. But interestingly enough, it was very easy to play him. Charlie, I think, is closer to me than any character I played, and therefore he's one of the most difficult characters I've ever played, because I've had to examine who I am as a person and how I would want to take care of my wife. I would want to take care of my son. And I always believed I could do it.
Right.
And I kept getting blow after blow after blow of obstacles that just keep holding me back. But I kept on believing in me and believing in my family. And I feel like I'd be similar to that. Charlie's had more failures than successes. Michael Weston had successes all the time. So I draw from Charlie is the stakes are so high for my own life, is I will never want to let my wife down. I never want to let my children down. And I will have to make huge sacrifices to achieve that. And so with Charlie, I'm drawing more from my own personal life, how I would be in this situation than I did in any other role I probably have ever played.
It sounded like an answer.
Hey, you guys, one more question.
Sure.
You guys are both unreliable. It's about Connor. Is there anything from the script that surprised you, and how did that translate onto the screen?
Anything that surprised me that I can share is really, because there are things that surprised me greatly in season 2 that I don't think we're at liberty to discuss quite now, but I was thrilled to see them really just go for it in the writer's room with surprising storylines. I think that's as much as I can say. I would love to answer you candidly, but I don't think that I
Anything
can.
from like season 1 then that you can look back on?
That was surprising?
Yeah, for you.
I think there's a lot of, with these characters, what's surprising to me is how far you can take them. And in season 1, I wanted to see more of that. And what I love about season 2 is I'm getting more of what I wanted to see for myself as the actor and for myself as the audience. So, I don't know if that answers.
I was surprised by Linda going back for the money with Gina. Like, that surprised me.
Did she abandon everything for that?
Yeah. That was a huge surprise. Not that it wasn't believable, because you guys filled it and made it and it worked. But I just was like, really?
Well, I thought in season 1, yes, and this person was capable of anything if they focused on it. And what I love about season 2 is I understand why that might be the focus, why certain things might happen in a person's life because of certain things that happened prior to. And the characters feel very different this year in terms of the understanding of why they act the way they act when they act. I think you get more of an understanding from these people.
It sounds
Right.
sorry.
Thank
It just
you,
sounds like
guys.
you like them more. Like,
I do.
yeah, like that you have that back.
They're much more dimensional this season than they were last year. Not because anyone was failing at making them dimensional, is that it starts with the writing of giving us the opportunity of, oh, this is why I'm doing this. This is why. We can have it in our head,
Sure.
but to an audience, they're like, you're not mind readers. You're not going to figure that out. But now it's being kind of mapped out. This is why Charlie is like this. This is why Linda's like this. This is why Fonzie's like this.
Keep it going.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Awesome.